Hello, welcome to the video. So this has been a highly requested video on the channel. So I thought I'd finally put this together for anyone who's starting up as an auto locksmith. So what I'm going to be doing is going through all the tools and equipment you need to build a lucrative auto locksmith business. And that's without getting ripped off by a course instructor. Because as we know, on these in-person courses, normally the instructor is just on commission to sell you more things that you don't need. Now, I know that personally because I've been on one of these courses or several courses, and normally they're just trying to pitch you different pieces of equipment that you don't really need in the real world. So I'm also going to go through some of the budgeting, so how it's going to help you budget for this equipment and what you really need. So let's just get right into it. So this is a simple checklist that's going to save you hours of research and thousands of dollars buying things you don't need. So step one, first you need to understand that you are making an investment. I know it can feel stressful at first, laying out a lot of money all at once on something you're not familiar with. I felt the same way when I started. I didn't have much savings and I had to finance my equipment. But what I quickly found is once I started to get those paid jobs coming in and I started to see profit, it was all worth it. So try not to think of it as an expense in the beginning. Although it can feel like you're spending a lot of money to get your business started, it is an investment and it's all designed to make you money. So that's how you need to think. So auto locksmithing has a higher barrier to entry, meaning it's more difficult and expensive to start as an auto locksmith business versus a standard home service domestic business. But this is a good thing. It means there's less people willing to bother doing it, which means you can get more of the market share and earn a lot more money than domestic locksmiths. Just keep in mind that every single thing you buy is there to make you money, so try and think in long-term games rather than short-term. You need to be patient and know that you're going to go through some ups and downs in the beginning, but eventually it will all iron out and you'll be flowing like a well-oiled machine. So in the beginning of your business, it's going to feel tough because you're investing, things aren't working out how you think they should. But eventually all of that will iron itself out and you'll just be flowing nicely. So that's how you got to think about it. Right, now step two is decide how you are going to fund your equipment. If you have savings, aka money in the bank, then that's great. You won't need to pay any interest on loans, credit cards or overdrafts. If you're not fortunate enough to have savings, then you can do what I done when I first got into this business, and you can finance the equipment or take out a small loan. You may even consider borrowing off friends and family. Whatever you do, just make sure you're able to make those repayments. It's obvious, I know. But let's say your monthly loan repayment is $350 and your vehicle and website costs are $100 per month. You'll need to make at least $500 in the first month to cover your business costs. Now this is easily done as each lost car key job can earn you up to $300. So you'll only need 2 jobs in that whole month and you're in business. Okay, so just 2 lost car key jobs and you're covering your expenses. And remember, as your website starts to rank in the search engines, word of mouth spreads, your reputation grows, your work rate will continue to grow until you're turning away jobs for lack of time. Okay, so step 3 is decide how much you're comfortable investing. So my advice to start up auto locksmiths is to think small. I know that sounds strange, but if you go and purchase every gadget and machine there is, not only will it cost you a fortune, you will also be overwhelmed because it will be too many things to learn right in the beginning. Try to stick to a minimal kit list like what I'm going to show you today, and then build from there, and only purchase new tools if you personally have a demand for them, not just because someone recommended that you need it. Now the kit list I'm about to show you is more than enough to get you started in this business. So if you have less than $5,000 to invest, I would recommend starting off small as like a gain entry service. You can start by buying the LISHI lock picks, which I'm about to reveal in this list, and try to build up slowly from there, maybe offering car lockouts. You might even want to offer just a domestic service because the equipment for that is very cheap to buy. You only need a couple of electric pick guns and things like that, so you could get started up for next to nothing. And it's actually a great way to practice is starting off with the LISHI picking. Here's why. Now, most of the skill of the auto locksmith lies within the picking, so once you've mastered that step, the rest really is just pushing buttons. Obviously you've got to know what buttons to push, but most of it really is just common sense. Once you can master the picking aspect, you're pretty much 80% of the way there. So by the time you expand into offering your full lost car key service, you would have mastered the picking. So I recommend, if you're starting out, definitely go for the LISHI picks, if a full set if possible. Then you can cover every car. But that's a great way to start, just to start, getting that practice in. So if you have more than $10,000 to invest, then you're definitely in business. The kit I'm about to show you should be affordable for that, and you'll be able to set yourself up no problems. Now, $10,000 sounds like a lot of money, but if you're starting a business, I think that's quite reasonable. If you was to try and open a restaurant, you'd probably need, in excess of 200 to 300,000, or, to open a shop or any other kind of brick and mortar business. With this, you really just need your website, your tools and your vehicle, and you're good to go. So when you purchase the key cutting machines and the programmers, check with the supplier if they offer technical support in case you get stuck on a job. That is an important point. Now, the companies I recommend have been very supportive to newbies, and most of them are offering a discount for the first purchase. So let's get right into it. Here's the kit list for startup auto locksmiths, and you can get a huge discounts on these products on the link in the description. So all of this checklist I'm going through will be in the description, so you can have, you can grab a copy of this checklist and just feel free to go through it whenever you want, so you don't have to watch this video over again. You can just get that checklist in the link in the description. So let's get into it. So here's the first thing I think you need. So air pump wedges. Now, these are always good to have as a backup in case you can't pick a lock. These are used just to insert in the gap of the door, so you can create a gap and then use like your fishing tool and pull the lever handle open. They're not recommended to use on a daily basis to open cars, but if you can't open a car for whatever reason, these are a must-have backup. A car opening kit. Now, these are used in conjunction with the air pump wedges. Now, these are used for all sorts of things. You can, once you've created the gap in the door, you can use one of these rods to go through, and sometimes you can even fish the keys out. You can pull the lever handle from the inside. You can press the open button in the vehicle. Let's say the keys have been left on the seat. You could even press one of the remote buttons on the key with one of these rods. So many uses for these. So that, again, they're a must-have thing for when the car can't be picked. Car battery booster. Now, when programming a new key to a car, it's necessary to have a battery backup, so you can keep the car battery at an optimal level. Now, failing to do this means the key might not program into the car properly. So whenever you program a new key, just connect to battery booster, and that's going to keep your car battery at a optimal level. So I recommend you grab one of these two. Now, keyboards, these aren't a must-have, but I find these very useful. These JMA boards come in 3 separate boards. What you can screw them to the inside of your van, and then that way they actually come with one key for every car, so you can just glance at your board and you know you've got a key for the vehicle, and you can keep that stocked up just so you know you've always covered for those emergency jobs. Now, LISHI pick and decoders. Now, these, you can't be an auto locksmith without LISHI picks. Now, in the when you get the checklist in the link in the description, there's an offer in there that's I recommend for some company, that you get like $1,000 or $1,300 something crazy discount if you buy the whole box. Now, if you buy them all individually, I think that, you know, there's over 100 LISHI picks out there. If you buy them all individually at $50 each, it's going to cost you a fortune in the long run. So by buying the whole set, you will get a huge discount. So if you don't know what these are for picking the locks and for decoding the locks once the lock is in the open position, and that allows you to then cut a key to the car. So yeah, check that checklist out in the link in the description, and you'll see where to get that full set. Now, car key programmers. Now, in my course, you'll see that I use 2 key programmers. Now, I recommend both the Smart Pro and the Z Full. Now, here's why. There's a bit of a crossover between 2 of the machines. For example, the Smart Pro will program some keys that the Z Full won't, and vice versa. So these machines are basically used for reading the pin codes and for programming the keys and for cloning keys. They've got multiple uses. And again, if you're offering a lost car key service or any kind of key duplication service or reproduction, you're going to need a key programmer. Now, you don't need to go out and buy 2, but if I was to recommend one, I would say get the Smart Pro. And again, you'll see the link in the description where to get that quite easily. So definitely you need your car key programmers. Now, automatic key cutting machine. Now, when I started about 5 years ago, there was very few options on what key machines were available. Now, I would have always recommended the Miracle, any of the Miracle range really, because they were like the best thing at the time. But they were very expensive. They were, you know, $5,000-$6,000. Nowadays, there's so many to choose from, and based on feedback, because I've got a locksmith group of it's over 3,000 locksmiths now, and a lot of people recommend this X-Horse Condor Dolphin for value for money, and what it does is perfect for newbies. And in the link in the description, there's a company that's currently selling these very cheap at quite a big discount, but they are selling out quite a bit, so do check that out. Now, this is one thing I've found is an all-in-one starter bundle. Now, I believe this is only available in the USA, but do check the website. But I know when you're starting out, money can be tight. So with this bundle, you actually get a key programmer plus the key cutting machine and some other gadgets as well. So this is going to save you quite a lot of money. It's going to save you up to $600. So if I was starting out, I'd seriously consider this bundle, because it will save you money and you're kind of getting everything you need in terms of cutting and programming. So do check that out. So key DIY remote generator. Now, this gadget is used for generating blank remotes into whatever car you're working on. So the idea is, rather than stocking hundreds of different remotes for each car, you can stock blank generic remotes, and then you use this machine to program the remote or to generate the remote to tell the remote basically what car it should be. Now, not only does this save money on stock, it also saves a lot of space in your vehicle. And you can buy those keys, those blank key DIY remotes, for as cheap as $10. and then you can program them to the vehicle. Now, it doesn't work for every single car out there. I would love it if it does. It only works for a good amount of cars though, but not every single. It's not going to cover every single car, but it's going to save you money. So all of these things I'm recommending are either vital or they're going to save you money. I mean, this you don't need, but if you want to save money in the long term, then I highly recommend it. So van stock. So I wouldn't recommend you go crazy and buy every remote for every car. Like I just said, it's going to not only cost a fortune, it's going to take up a lot of space. But what I would do is go out and check what are the most common cars in your area, and then order a bunch of remotes for those vehicles, because it's just going to, you're going to sell them eventually. So, it's really worth having those backup remotes. Again, in that checklist in the link in the description, there's an awesome company that I recommend that do sell these keys at a huge discount to people in the trade. And the good thing about this is you won't need to jump through so many hoops to sign up. You'll be able to get access to that pretty quickly just by going to that link. So apart from the tools and equipment, what else will I need to get started? So let's go through a couple of other bits and pieces you'll need that I think are essential to get you started as an auto locksmith. So van versus car. So if you're offering just a minimal lockout service in the beginning, then a car is more than enough. I wouldn't bother purchasing a van at this point. I would get used to going out and doing lockouts in your normal car. And then eventually, you'll be able to invest some money and buy a bigger van. But you don't need one of those big Luton vans or anything. Just any kind of smallish van will do. So yeah, I mean, don't panic about this aspect in the beginning. Use your current vehicle, get used to it, and then in the future you'll be able to invest in a nice sign written van. Now, an inverter to power your machines. Now, if you're going to have your key cutting machines in the back of your vehicle, there's other ways around it. You could get a generator, which I don't recommend. It's too much messing around. So what you can do is just grab one of these inverters, and this works on a split relay system. So you connect it to your car battery in the actual vehicle, and then you have a separate battery as well. So when the vehicle's driving along, it's charging your secondary battery, and then that battery is going to power your machines through the inverter. So I personally didn't fit all that myself. I just went to a local electrician and they charged me about $150 to fit it all, because I wouldn't take a risk, and because I'm not an expert in electronics. But if you've got any knowledge with electronics, then that's great, because you'll be able to wire that up yourself. Now, you must have a locksmith website. Now, unless you're planning to work for another company, you must have a locksmith website. In fact, I think this is hands down the most important step of becoming an auto locksmith, and it's overlooked time and time again. Now, this is going to be where all of your leads come from. 90% of your customers are going to find you on Google. So if you've already got a website, that's a good start. If not, I would even start one now before even buying any equipment. People will ignore me when I say that, but it'll be the people who listen to me when I say get a website. They're the ones who are going to succeed in the long run, because that's where your money is going to come from at the end of the day. And what's the point of becoming an auto locksmith and buying all the equipment and hoping that the jobs are just going to come to you? It's pointless. It's not a hobby, it's a business. So get your website done in the link in the description. I'll show you how to build a website for less than $4 per month. It's so easy to do. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you do need something there, you know, just to get that work. So CRM software. So this is basically there's a few options for this. The one you'll see in the checklist, the one that I recommend, and this is just going to save you so many headaches on invoicing and tracking your expenses, and it's basically going to take care of the business side. I remember when I first started out, I didn't have this CRM software. I just had like a receipt pad in the van, and I just used to stuff all my receipts into the glove box. And I had, you know, when it come to doing my expenses at the end of the year or my tax return, it was an absolute headache and used to give me anxiety just thinking about it. But since I got this CRM software, it's tracking every invoice for me. It's tracking everything, tracking my expenses. So when it comes to do paperwork and pay the tax man, it's not so stressful. So I do think it's a vital thing. Again, there'll be in the checklist when you grab that, download it from the link in the description. You'll see a couple of options there for that. So finally, I couldn't do this video without a cheeky self-promotion. If you want some online locksmith training that's going to go into depth on how to use all this equipment, plus much more, that's going to show you how to pick, how to decode, how to program keys, how to cut keys. I also show you loads on the business side of things. You know, since I've been a locksmith for over 15 years, I've learned a lot on how to get work, how to generate leads, how to, you know, just how to run your business successfully. And I'll also throw in some free bonus material for the first 50 people who sign up. So whoever signs up on the link in the description, there'll be a separate link. Whoever signs up through that, they will get some free bonus material. Okay, so that's it for now. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you need help starting your auto locksmith business. And thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.